Well, thank you very much. This is our first live on the subject of empowering men. It is such an important subject, even just after the Women's Month. I think it is also very necessary to have a focus on how we can support, guide, and help men. And for this to happen, I've had a long conversation over the last few years with my dear friend, Professor Maurizio Rossini, and he has been involved in this for a long time. So I want to hand over so Professor Maurizio can give an introduction into this amazing subject.
First of all, I'm really excited. Thanks for the introduction, and thanks for accepting to be part of this journey, which is just starting right now. And we are excited. We've been elaborating this idea together because both of us, not only as a man, but we work guiding people, especially men, and we both know how necessary is having honest conversations about manhood, brotherhood, leadership, which is your forte, and the open conversations, even to engage women, because most of the time, according to my journey in the past few years of doing men's work are all those activities related to men's mental health, physical well-being, and emotional well-being. I've noticed that women are the one that they are more sensitive at times of the topic because they do deal every single day with men, maybe the father, the husband, the boyfriend, the co-worker, or sometimes the boss. So I'm grateful to start this journey with you, dear John, because I know that you are an extremely passionate leader. And you always say leading by example and from a space of authenticity. So the objective of this series of conversations, targeting men, of course, but engaging women as well, are simply having a space where you and me, and hopefully the audience will engage with us, to tell, to be honest, to be authentic, and to get engaged with us in uncover what really does it mean to be a modern man with the struggles and the opportunities. We have, personally speaking, I'd like to introduce myself. I'm Italian. I live in beautiful Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. And for the past few years, I've been co-creating communities of men where we gather together monthly, in a monthly basis, or at times in men's retreat. And my duty is to create a safe space where men from different walks of life, and it is not a religious group, it is not either therapy, it is a tribe, as our ancestors used to do, where men gather together, and according to the degree of their courage, they address the work that they have to do. Most of the time, as you know, John, men, we are so afraid to open up for the fear of being judged as weak. But that's just part of the conditioning. So this conversation that we are having, it's simply to dissolve, to unleash that kind of conditioning, which is limiting the well-being of many men, especially in the corporate. I know that you are super strong in LinkedIn and you deal with C-suite managers and men that have been achieving the success that this society says in terms of finance, in terms of growing a company. But then when it comes to living a fulfilling life, unfortunately, many men, either they fake it or either they suffer in silence because there is no space. As you know, as a husband, as a businessman, before everything, you are a man. And as a man, we have emotions. Most of the time, the only emotion which is accepted by the society is anger. If you see an angry man, it's something very simple and easy to see. But if you see on the street a man crying, it catches your attention because it doesn't happen very often. So the idea of this conversation we're going to have bi-weekly on LinkedIn is simply to have the courage to talk about maybe provocative topics, maybe topics that, you know, especially the corporate, we all avoid. Because we talk about men only when men creates troubles, without understanding why men, they end up in addictions, they end up in abusive behaviors in their family, with fellow brothers or women, or even at work. We just judge men because men They just need to sort it out the things by themselves. Plus, taking care of everybody. We are not here to victimize the role, the archetype of the man. We are simply here to discover and share that a weak man is a man that is abusive because he's not able to have an internal emotional regulation that allows him to manage situations in a different way. Consequently, a man abusive uses the physical force. A grounded man, a leader, a man empowered is a man that is able to have emotional regulations, able to address where that anger is coming from, the frustration, the unfulfillment, in addressing it. This is part of what we do during our men's circles, right? But that's our intention. Let me know from what is your main drive, what you really, because I know I felt you, I had several calls and I know that you really want to do that. What is your main why behind jumping on this call with me?
Yeah, well, I mean, so many wise words already, and I fully agree with that, of course, and that's how we connected in the first place. And you know, it is the figures are actually frightening. Men are always, I mean, real men don't cry, and the stiff upper lip, and all these kind of things have pushed men into a corner where there is one of the reasons that the suicide rate among men is absolutely frightening. I think I've heard figures from 78% of suicides are men. I talked to somebody last week, a dear person who said, you know, he was attempting to commit suicide last year, and luckily he didn't succeed. But he said that every 2 hours a man commits suicide. Now those figures are really disastrous, and I think by having more open conversations, by being also passionate as men, I mean, we are passionate about what we do. We are passionate. We want to succeed. We want to not only succeed alone, we want to collaborate with women too, because let's not leave women out of this. I think gender-based violence, of course, is a terrible statistic, and also partly because, and it's not an excuse, but it is because so many men are so frustrated within themselves. They don't feel they can open up. They don't feel they can share. They can't open their heart and become vulnerable. And I think, and that's really something that we need. We need that safe space they always talk about. But what does that look like? How can we as men help other men to be real men? And real men do have to open up. I mean, it was just a few years ago, I actually opened up about failed relationships, and it was relationships for men by men. But I noticed that women were very interested in this too. So I think even though we're going to talk a lot about men, with men, but subjects that men really want to discuss openly and honestly, and that's what we're here for. It's not about us, but we want to give men a platform where we can learn, we can all listen, and we can all share, because the world needs to know, the world needs to be able to open up, including men. Men need to be able to tell people that they're hurting, to tell people the challenges they have that they can't talk about or won't talk about. Now we want to really share this with people, and that's why, you know, even your men's circles, I watch the videos that you constantly put on social media as well, and I see how men respond, whether with exercise and through exercise also to become really like buddies. That it's not just about being able to talk, but it's to find a space where we can connect with fellow men and talk about the subjects that we normally cannot talk about. This, and I know this is a professional platform, but even on a professional platform, people need to know that they can open up, that they can share, and that's why I think it's so important that we move forward with a subject at the moment we're going to do this every second week, but if there is a requirement that we will do this more often, we will certainly we will stand up and get ready for that as well. But we want to find out from the men who will listen to this or to the recording, you know, what are the subjects that you want to talk into? What do you want the subjects that you are afraid to talk into, but you want to hear more about? Because it's all about you. It's all about how can we serve, how can we bring men together, how can we all learn from each other, with each other, and be safer in our own well-being, ensure that if there is a problem, we can not only on the media, but also privately we can start to connect with a group of men that understand us, that are willing to listen to us, because listening is one of the best things we can do as a person, and men also need somebody to listen to them. And so I think it's wonderful what you've already done for such a long time. And I can hear the passion in your voice when you talk about it. And that's why I love that we're together here. There is no such thing as coincidence. We've talked about this for a while. We've now hopefully figured out that our LinkedIn Live works as well, and that we can do these recordings, and we will put the recordings on both our social media, so you can follow that as well. And we want to hear from you. We want to listen to you. We want to connect with you, and we want to together in our conversations want to bring all those pains and passions that you have that are well hidden, and the frustrations, that we can bring them out here so we can walk this journey together. What do you say, Maurizio?
I loved what you say a couple of times. You said that this journey, this kind of conversation, it is not about us. We are just taking the action to create a safe space. But this conversation is for all of us. It's not about Jan or Maurizio. It's about us. And, it's going to be very interesting, Jan. I know that you have an amazing following platform, 30,000 plus people you have, and I suggest you to check his newsletter. It's full of wisdom, very well followed. In the environment, at times I'm asking myself, even during my experience, as you know, we do one-on-one coaching, and it happened that I've been coaching, well-doing men, let's say, in their own corporate career. It's very difficult. They say, how can I be vulnerable when I have 400 employees? And that's true. So I believe our duty is to craft a message. At times, if you talk to a man and you talk about mental health, they reject it because the conditioning, I'm okay, I'm not cuckoo, I'm fine. But if you talk to a man about peak performance, they will say, yes, I want to know more. If you think mental health is emotional regulation allows you to have peak performance. So we're talking about the same. But a man doesn't like to talk about his emotions. A man wants things done because he has to fulfill the archetype of the provider. So making money, consequently, how can I make money? To have better performances. How can I have better performances? So our duty, I believe, in this journey is to start and learn. It's going to be a nice journey to share together in this environment, in LinkedIn, where mainly are people join the platform for business, to learn and deliver a message that touch the heart of the man without breaking the resistance of being open. Because it's true, at the end of the day, how can a man with a lot of power in the corporate can be vulnerable? So we have to find a way, which is going to be interesting as a journey, me and you, to craft this message. On the other side, our generation was a different journey, but I can see, and I want to share with you, as you know, I'm very active in other platforms, and where the youngster, they start to reach out to me. I can see in the youngster, even 15, 20, 25, early 30s, they start to feel the need they are more open. Let's say. So as adults, I think we do have the duty of creating the conversations that can create healthy role models without the arrogance to sell ourselves as role models, simply discuss of topics that they create an alternative of the alpha man, because an alpha man is a man which is absolutely, totally disempowered, a man that judge women, judge something which is diverse than him, simply for the fact that he's not able to deal with the diversity. So it's going to be, even for you and me, a very interesting journey of crafting the message and delivery in the most effective way.
Yeah, and I fully agree with you. And since we don't want to be too long today, we've been on about 15 minutes, but we just want to make sure that the people who will listen to this, whether as a live or as a recording, they get a bit of a feel of the passion that we have to support, to guide you, to help you, to empower you. And it's, as Maurizio said, it's not about us. We are just going to be part of a group of men to have that discussion, that we will have those discussions online. And we look also for, whether it's live or when you see the recording, please feel free to comment, to like and share and comment these kind of things. Also feel free to, with Maurizio, he's writing now every week into this subject on LinkedIn. So he's got a LinkedIn newsletter. I've got one about leadership that you can also follow. But come and follow us. It's not about following us. We're not looking for the numbers. We're looking for people who are interested in sharing with us. We're interested in being genuine with us. We're interested in you know, you might have been sitting at home or at work or in a quiet place, frustrated and full of anxiety and depression because there is so much going on and you can't share it with anybody because, as Maurizio said as well, you know, when you have a couple of hundred or a couple of thousand employees, you need to be strong for every one of them. You need to be that person, but you're also a human being. You need to be able to share. And our wish is also that you don't only share this with other men, but you share it with your wives, your girlfriends, your mothers, your daughters, as well as your sons, because these conversations should not just be happening here. This should be just a catalyst for you to be able to dare to have conversations like this in an environment that you thus far you have not been able to do so. So I really hope that this will be just a catalyst of amazing conversations that we all can have together, that we can connect with each other at the heart level, not just at the head level, but because that's where the relationships are built. That's where we can heal ourselves and help heal each other. So, Professor Maurizio, a last word before we close this off?
I think we said it all. I think we put already a lot on the table. The audience can see clearly that there is a lot of goodwill. This was just an introduction. We will have a series, as John says, bi-weekly, where there's going to be a different topic each time. And leave the comments below, get engaged with us. Any topic that you feel you want us to dive deep, you just let us know. And we are very excited, as you can see clearly, to see you in a couple of weeks.
That's it from us. Come and join us, and it's going to be a pleasure and a privilege to share with you. So we will